lakau. It means to walk, to roam, to journey. To a penan, it is the essence of life in the rainforest.
Ako ay penan. Ame moko tong tanak lakau paso, lakau tong tanak, lakau pitah babuy, lakau pitah hapo.
They journey through the jungle, following the fruit seasons, hunting game, and living in temporary shelters. For hundreds of years, their tana, or ancestral lands, have provided secure homes and food for the Penan tribe. As modernization encroaches, however, they now have to lakau beyond familiar territory in search of a future for their children. Sarawak, Borneo, home of the hornbill, land of legends and mystical tales of the jungle. Here in the tropical rainforest roam one of the world's last remaining nomadic tribes, the Penan.
Tapi itu to bari abad ame, bari kerayung, bari selungan, bari talem. Ameng ame penan.
Sayak is headman of the Bamago group that roam an area 100 kilometers northeast of Sarawak's capital. There are over 100 Penan in his group.
Sinah ni ame pitah kaan, sinah ni ame lakau. Beo mo me pisyo tong ba tong tanak tong jalan ihurip me, tapi sinah ni ame moko.
Of the 16,000 Penan in Sarawak, only around 500 are still nomads. They journey through the jungle, following the fruit seasons, hunting game and living in temporary shelters. These are the last of the great nomads, living traditionally for fear of losing their tana, or their lands, if they settle. Hidden in the heart of Borneo's jungle, the sound of children echoing through the trees is the only clue to their existence at times. Living as nomads, it's easy to feel cut off from the world. The reality is, the effects of change are felt even here. In the quest for development, Sarawak turned to its rainforest for its valuable resources. Thousands of hectares of land have been allocated for dams and cultivation of cash crops like rice, pepper, and palm oil. Although destructive towards the environment, these projects have greatly benefited the state by generating billions of dollars in revenue. But in doing so, development impacted the elusive Penan immeasurably. Over the years, they have desperately called out for help against changes in their environment. In response, the government encouraged the Penan to settle, hoping they could benefit from the advantages of the modern world. It was the clean water, electricity, access to healthcare, medical facilities and schools, which eventually helped persuade 97% of Penans to retire their nomadic way of life.
Di Sarawak dibandingkan dengan kaum-kaum lain yang minority groups, kaum Penan yang paling ketinggalan. Jadi kerajaan cuba memainkan peranan untuk membantu kaum ini berubah lebih maju lagi. Jadi supaya dia tak ketinggalan dari semua segi, dari segi pendidikan terutamanya lah, sebab pendidikan itulah yang dapat mengubah.
Indigenous communities make up about half of Sarawak's 2.1 million people. Over 98% have long settled and embraced a modern-type lifestyle. But for those remaining few who are still transitioning out of the jungle, they go to great lengths to bridge the gap. It is the end of semester, and Sayat's brother, Grawat Magut, has made a day-long journey to collect his children from school. Having lived his entire life as a nomad, Grawat has little knowledge of urban life, but hopes one day his children will succeed in this unfamiliar territory.
Ame penantu juk pitah kejian dipitah maju ke kat anak sekolah tu. Kino kena jadi jian ame sai oto be mejambar ka jian ka isat hak. Mole kino kena jian ame pekelok kibu jian nah kami.
For the nomadic Penan, their decision to educate their children requires faith in a system they do not understand, for what they hope is a bright future for their children. This rural school has 70 students, over half of them Penan children from nomadic groups. Since the 1980s, the number of schools in Sarawak's interior has increased, making the classroom much more accessible to these children. But for them, getting to school still comes with various challenges. Most Penan children must board at school for entire semesters, some as young as 6, with little or no contact with family. For many of these young students, getting to school takes up to a day's walk through the jungle.
Satu pada lakar dan dari lapung pun nah ni mau nak molek minah kamu kan lewat peliwan kau dak pala kan ke kat guna pakar be guna kau dak kamu kau tadi kia oh.
As life in the rainforest becomes more uncertain, even these last few nomads sense their traditional way of life is coming to an end. The Penan do what they can to bridge the gap, using education as one significant way out of the jungle. But with change comes an ever-present fear of losing a sense of their own culture and identity as they make this transition from jungle to town.